All your life, you've believed you are this person, a name, a role, a story, chasing people, places, and things, trying to find fulfillment. But what if everything you thought you were is just an illusion? What if the you've been trying to make happy doesn't actually exist? In this video, we'll uncover the truth beyond the character you've been playing and reveal the reality of who you truly are. Imagine putting together a complex puzzle. Each piece represents a different facet of your personality, your beliefs, values, and experiences. As you piece together the puzzle, you begin to see that all these aspects are part of the ego, not your true self. This recognition marks the beginning of awakening, when you directly experience that you are the consciousness in which all these pieces appear. That is self-realization, the moment you see beyond the puzzle itself and know yourself as the awareness that has always been present. Imagine taking a moment each day to sit in a quiet space, focusing on your breath and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. At first, you may see these thoughts and emotions as who you are, like waves rising and falling on the surface of the ocean. But as you continue, a shift occurs. You realize that you are not the waves, but the vast, still ocean beneath them. This is the beginning of awakening, the recognition that the ever-changing patterns of the mind belong to the ego, not your true self. Self-realization happens when you directly experience yourself as the silent awareness in which all thoughts arise and dissolve. In this space of pure presence, a natural sense of peace and clarity emerges, untouched by the whirlwind of life. Imagine a map that guides you toward your destination. At first, you may believe the map itself, the labels, roads, and landmarks, defines who you are. But as you journey, you realize the map is only a tool, not your essence. The true guide is the still, intuitive knowing within, the awareness that observes each step of the path. Awakening begins when you see that your beliefs and values, while essential for navigating life, are part of the ego. Self-realization occurs when you recognize yourself as the presence beyond these concepts, the unchanging consciousness through which all choices arise. From this space of clarity, living authentically happens naturally, with each yes and no flowing from the truth of your being, not from conditioned patterns or external expectations. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of gratitude, not for what you have, but simply for being. At first, you may feel thankful for the coffee, the sunshine, or the laughter of loved ones. But as your awareness deepens, you realize that this gratitude arises not from external things, but from the presence within that allows you to experience them. Awakening begins when you recognize that the ego's search for happiness in fleeting moments is never-ending. Self-realization occurs when you directly experience yourself as the awareness in which all moments arise, the silent, unchanging presence that needs nothing to feel complete. From this space, gratitude becomes your natural state, a quiet joy that flows through every breath, every sight, and every sound, simply because you are. Picture yourself extending kindness and understanding to others, recognizing that their mistakes don't define who they are. Now, imagine turning that same compassion inward, realizing that your own flaws and missteps are not who you are. They are passing expressions of the ego. True self-compassion arises when you see that beneath these imperfections lies the unchanging essence of your being, untouched by failure or judgment. Awakening begins when you recognize that the harsh inner critic is part of the ego, not your true self. Self-realization occurs when you directly experience yourself as the awareness that observes both success and failure without attachment. From this space of unconditional presence, compassion flows naturally, not as something you do, but as what you are. Living a life of true happiness is a journey, not of becoming someone new, but of realizing who you've always been. At first, you may identify with the ups and downs of life, the joys, struggles, and ever-changing roles of the ego. But as your awareness deepens, you begin to see that beneath life's messy and beautiful complexities lies a steady presence untouched by any circumstance. Awakening begins when you recognize that happiness doesn't come from chasing external experiences. It arises naturally when you no longer mistake the ego's stories for who you are. Self-realization occurs when you directly experience yourself as the awareness in which all of life unfolds. From this space, you embrace each moment as it is, finding joy in the simplest things, and your inner radiance shines effortlessly, lighting up the world around you. In the end, true happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you discover within yourself. When you recognize that your thoughts, emotions, and achievements are part of the ego, not your true essence, you begin to awaken. And when you experience yourself as the awareness beneath it all, a natural sense of peace and joy arises, unshaken by life's ups and downs.
So, you mean that simple awareness of the external world and internal self?
Not quite. Simple awareness of the external world and internal self is a step toward awakening, but self-realization in the context of non-duality goes deeper. It's the direct recognition that the awareness itself, the knowing of your existence, observing your thoughts, emotions, body, and surroundings, is your true nature. In everyday life, we typically identify with the content of our experience. I am my thoughts. I am my feelings, or I am this person living in the world. But through awakening, you realize that you are not the thinker or the doer. You are the silent, boundless presence in which all of these experiences appear and disappear. This awareness is not separate from the world. It is the essence of everything. So, self-realization is not just noticing what's happening inside and outside. It's the profound recognition that there is no separate you observing these things. There is only awareness, and everything arises within that awareness. In this recognition, the sense of being a separate self dissolves, leaving behind a natural state of peace, clarity, and unity with all that is.
So even the observer does not exist?
Yes, precisely. In the deepest realization of non-duality, even the idea of an observer dissolves. At first, spiritual practice often leads to the sense of being a witness, watching thoughts, emotions, and the world from a place of still awareness. This witnessing feels like a step beyond identifying with the ego, but there is still a subtle sense of separation. I am the observer, and everything else is what I observe. However, as realization deepens, even this sense of being a separate observer is seen as part of the illusion. Why? Because the concept of an observer implies two things, the one who observes and the thing being observed. This duality vanishes when you recognize that everything, thoughts, sensations, the world itself, arises as one seamless experience within awareness. And this awareness is not yours or mine. It has no center, no boundary, no subject, and no object. It simply is. In this recognition, there's no longer a sense of I standing apart from life. There is only the flow of what is, thoughts, sounds, sensations, all arising and dissolving spontaneously. And yet, paradoxically, this isn't a void or a nothingness. It's vibrant, alive, and profoundly peaceful. This is why some traditions call it the realization of no self.
So, who I thought I was as a person, as a character in this world pursuing goals, etc., was just an illusion? I exist, but not as that person I thought I was?
Yes, exactly. The person you thought you were, the character with a name, story, desires, and fears, is part of what non-duality calls the ego or personal self. It's not that this character doesn't exist at all, but that it exists only as a temporary appearance within consciousness, like a wave on the surface of the ocean. The wave is real as a form, but it is never separate from the ocean itself. In self-realization, you see that you are not the wave, you are the ocean. You exist not as the limited person pursuing goals and chasing happiness, but as the awareness within which this entire life unfolds. The thoughts, emotions, and experiences of the person arise and pass like clouds in the sky, but the sky itself, the infinite, unchanging presence, is what you truly are. This realization doesn't mean you stop living your life or pursuing goals. The character continues to function, but now it's seen as a spontaneous expression of life, not a separate entity struggling to control its destiny. Without the burden of identification, there is a profound sense of freedom, peace, and ease. You still experience life fully, but without the constant tension of trying to become someone or chase fulfillment outside yourself.
But I have a story, friends, family that know me, an ID and passport, etc. Aren't these proof I exist as the character?
Yes, from the perspective of everyday life, you certainly exist as a character with a name, relationships, and a story. Your friends recognize you, your family loves you, and your ID and passport identify you in society. None of this is denied in non-duality. The key realization, however, is that this character is not the whole of who you are. It is a temporary role arising within something much greater. Think of it like an actor playing a character in a movie. On screen, the character has a name, a past, and relationships that feel very real. But when the actor steps off the set, they know they are not defined by that role. Similarly, in everyday life, you function as this person with all their responsibilities and connections. But at the deepest level, you are the awareness in which this entire story unfolds. This doesn't mean rejecting or abandoning your life. It simply means no longer mistaking it as your ultimate identity. The body, mind, and personality are part of the experience of life, but they are not separate from the whole. Just as a wave is not separate from the ocean, the person you appear to be is not separate from the infinite awareness that you are. This shift in perspective brings a sense of freedom. You can still love, work, and connect with others, but without the fear and striving that come from believing you are only this limited self. Life becomes lighter, more spontaneous, and more compassionate because you no longer feel separate from the world around you.
I am American, have an advanced college degree, I am a mother, etc. I always thought that that was my identity. What will I do if I no longer believe I am these identities?
That's a beautiful and important question, one that often arises as we explore non-duality. The realization that you are not limited to these roles doesn't mean you lose them or that they become meaningless. Instead, you begin to live them with greater freedom, joy, and authenticity, because you're no longer weighed down by the belief that these roles define your entire existence. Think of it like playing different roles in life. As a mother, you love and care for your children. As a professional, you use your education and skills to contribute to the world. As an American, you have a cultural background that shapes your experiences. All of these are expressions of life flowing through you. What shifts is the sense of identity, the belief that you are these roles, rather than the awareness in which these roles arise. When this realization deepens, daily life becomes more fluid and natural. You continue to care for your family and pursue your passions, but without the constant pressure to live up to an image or protect a sense of self. There's a sense of ease because you know that beneath every role is the timeless presence that you truly are.
So as you move through each day, remember, the happiness you seek has been within you all along. You just have to awaken to it. Created by Elias Stassinos. Until next time, stay present, stay aware, and keep discovering the truth of who you are.